Hello, brothers and sisters. Hey, thanks for joining me again today. As you might know, I like Scottish stories, and I found this mad banger that I had to talk about. Children's book portrays some Picts as black and claims ancient Scotland was multicultural and diverse. I think this might be the maddest thing I have ever read. So, my ancestors were black. That's what I think I just read. Let's read more. An ancient people living in Scotland have been depicted as black in a new children's book conceived to show youngsters the multicultural and diverse origins of the country. Carved in stone, A Storyteller's Guide to the Picts is an illustrated history of the tribes who lived in eastern and northern Scotland around 270 and 900 AD. Within the tome, aimed at children aged 14 and up, are cartoonish images of Picts that include black villagers as well as monks, bishops, and religious healers. Partly financed by taxpayer-funded Society of Antiquaries of Scotland, the team behind the book is looking at making it available for free in schools and libraries, according to reports. The project was originally proposed 4 years ago as a role-playing game about the Picts before it was expanded into a comprehensive historical work, with the creative team stating in a promotional video, "We're proud to bring together some of Scotland's leading archaeologists with a host of queer, marginalized, and disabled voices to dispel misconceptions of the past." Misconceptions? Really? The Picts were black? Really? What happened to them? When I was growing up in Scotland, there were like 5 black people in the whole country, I think. Well, that's if you're not going to include the Packies. My mom would send me down to the shops to get fags from the Packies. I know you're not allowed to say that now, but hey, I call it free speech. They're from Pakistan. They're Packies. Come on, what's the problem here? Where did all these Picts go? I don't remember seeing a lot of black folk in Scotland growing up. There's far more now with all the open borders. According to a statement on the website for heritage organization Dig It, which partnered on the project, Carved in Stone was designed to present the latest archaeological research about the Picts in a more accessible and engaging way, which highlights the Picts were, like any society, complicated. They're having a laugh, right? Come on. The Romans fought the Picts. If people don't know, the Romans conquered the whole known world, and when they got to Scotland, the Picts were too big and bad and scary and covered in tattoos and blue paint. So the Romans built the Hadrian and Antonian walls to keep the Picts out from invading their empire. That's how scary the Picts were. So the Picts were definitely tattooed barbarians. If I remember my Latin from my school days, Pict is sort of Latin for picture because they were the pictured people. There are Roman accounts of the Picts. The Romans fought the Picts. The Romans liked to write stuff down. The Picts were as white as me. We don't need archaeologists to look at old bones and things and say the Picts were black. We just need to read what the Romans wrote about them. So stop making up this woke nonsense drivel. I hate when people rewrite history and race swap things that have no reason to be race swapped. It's just like I think Netflix did Cleopatra and made Cleopatra black. Same thing. Cleopatra wasn't black. Everyone knows. She was Greek. She wasn't black. She wasn't an ethnic African. Stop the race swapping nonsense. It's especially dangerous in history. It continues. They responded to, built on, and contributed to the cultures around them. Were intentionally connected, were intricately skilled artists, held a mixture of religious beliefs, and went out of their way to accommodate disabled members of their society. Oh, really? The Romans named the tribe as Picti, meaning painted people. Oh, yeah, I knew that. I got that right. Largely because they were said to sport tattoos. Yeah, and I think a lot of the ink that they used was blue, so that's where the whole blue paint thing from like Braveheart comes from. But to be fair, by the time of Braveheart, the Scots were not wearing blue paint, but it does still sound good to put on the blue paint. Whenever people think I'm getting mad about something, they talk about me putting on the blue paint. Looks like we've got a black priest or maybe a healer healing this redheaded guy. There are a lot of redheads in Scotland, it is true. I think Scotland has the most redheads in the world. I think Ireland is number 2. Here's another picture showing a multicultural society. Guys, let me let you in on a little secret. Scotland has not been a multicultural society until relatively recently. Like I said, when I grew up, there were like 5 black people in Scotland. So this whole multiculturalism is a new thing of the last 50 or odd years. Woke authors should not be getting public funding to write children's books that rewrite history so that our children actually believe this rubbish. However, the authors of Carved in Stone believe that the evidence is inconclusive, the Telegraph reports. Although the Picts certainly had the artistic capabilities, tattooing does not show up in any of their stone carvings. Well, yeah, it's hard to tattoo stone. Furthermore, while some blue pigments such as woad or copper were available, they would have known that these were unsafe for human use. Instead, historians behind the book believe that while some Picts had tattoos, there were also some among them that had none. Again, this is really nonsense. Yes, some Picts probably didn't have tattoos. It was probably a religious or a warrior culture type thing. And if you were in that sort of caste that wore tattoos, then you would do it. But it's a fact that they were tattooed. The Romans wrote about it. Come on, guys, stop with the nonsense. Evidence suggests the core of the Pictish kingdom was in present-day Moray and Aberdeenshire, but it also stretched down to the Firth of Forth and across from the Isle of Skye to Shetland. According to a genetic study published in 2023, the Picts descended from Iron Age populations long established in Britain. The depiction of black Picts follows the recent inclusion of illustrations portraying St. Augustine as a black man in a children's book written by the Church of England officials. I'm going to have to look this up. Was St. Augustine a black man? He might have been. If he was, no problem with that. All right, so I looked up St. Augustine. This is another bit of nonsense, just like Cleopatra. It's well documented that St. Augustine was from Algeria, and at that time, the Algerians had olive-toned skin. So he wasn't black, but here he is as an obvious man from the heart of Africa, is how he's been drawn here. And there's nothing wrong with black folk. It's just stop rewriting history. St. Augustine wasn't black. If you say that's racist, so be it. I'm just saying it's facts. If somebody is from Algeria, say they're from Algeria. Don't rewrite history and then teach it to our children. It's not right. So shame on you, Church of England, for portraying St. Augustine as a black man. Portray him as what he was. Stop the woke nonsense. This book says it seeks to inspire children with examples of black and brown saints, often erased and whitewashed from history, who formed the church and therefore modern society as we know it today. Aurelius Augustinius, born 345 AD in a Mediterranean coastal town now in Algeria, going on to become a bishop of the North African settlement of Hippo. Oh, okay, so that's him. Yeah, he's from Algeria. Over the years, most depictions of St. Augustine have been of a white man. At that time, in history, the area was a Roman province, although Augustine and his mother, St. Monica, may have originated from the North African Berber ethnic group. And again, most likely he was a Berber. And so to say that he was black without actual evidence of it is nonsense. Although this would not make him black, there have been efforts to apply this identity to him by some groups, including the Catholic University of Villanova in Pennsylvania. Shame on you, Villanova. You shouldn't be doing it either. If you've got evidence he's black, say he's black, but don't make shit up. An official at the university wrote in 23, it was important to depict the saint as black because depicting St. Augustine as a black man actively decenters whiteness. So this official is a woke Karen for sure. Heroes of Hope was co-authored by Reverend Dr. Sharon Prentice. Yeah, Sharon is Karen, who was appointed the deputy director of the Church of England's Racial Justice Unit in January. Of course she was. Of course, with racial justice, she'd be race swapping people in books. The unit was set up in 2022 in the wake of Black Lives Matter protests to help meet the church's commitments to achieving racial justice. Black Lives Matter has a lot to answer for. You know what I think about all this? Obviously, this is nonsense. Most of the ancient people in Scotland were as white as me because my ancestors are from Scotland and Ireland. Ancestry.com says I'm 100% Scotch and Irish. I have been making fun of this a little bit, but it is actually serious. What we're seeing here is this is how the woke leftist ideologies get to our children, and they're indoctrinating our children in all of this nonsense. So the next generation is going to come up reading these books and saying, yeah, the Picts were black. That's what they learned in school. But it's nonsense. It's lies because they want to push this woke agenda of multiculturalism. And multiculturalism is a failed experiment. Look at all the crime in the UK since open borders and you weren't allowed to call out minorities or Muslims because you were a bad person if you did. Everyone is terrified in the UK of being called a racist. I'm completely over that. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care anymore. Those words have all lost meaning because they've been overused and misapplied for so long. People that are racist or are far right or whatever, these are just terms for people that the left don't agree with on something, on anything. The argument quickly devolves into you're a racist or you're an Islamophobe. You may just be stating facts, like the ancient Picts were not black. And so we need to get back to a time where we teach our children in schools actual facts and things that they need to know to prepare them to go out into the real world as successful, highly functioning adults. We don't need to be teaching them about 72 genders. We don't need to be teaching them that all Jews are bad. We don't need to be teaching them all Muslims are bad. We just need to be out there teaching them the facts and stop teaching them a certain political ideology. But the left has figured out that it's very effective if they capture the schools. And in the UK and in America, most of the teachers are leftists now, 100%. And they are pushing these woke ideologies. So parents, get in there, talk to your councils, talk to your schools, elect people that will safeguard your civil rights, safeguard your children's civil rights, and teach them the truth. Teach them the facts, not ideology. No, the ancient Scots were not black. This is nonsense. This book needs to be just binned. It was a waste of taxpayer money. Hey, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you do. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. Thanks. Bye.